Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. 0 megawatt to discos, cripples homes and businesses. NCAA goes tough on flight delays. Ex-Governor Abba Ibrahim dies at 73. Driver shot dead, body burnt before abducted Ekiti pupils. How Ekiti robbers were killed by attack survivor Alara. How kidnappers exploit financial systems loopholes. And presidency knocks Atiku over criticism of government economic policies. Okay, which story?
Yes, so let me start with the flight disruption. So the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, are warning domestic airlines, saying that flight disruptions, incessant delays, and schedule changes without adequate notice to passengers will henceforth attract sanctions. It said that the airlines must fulfill their obligations to passengers or face the consequences. The NCAA Acting Director General, Chris Najomo, was the one who issued the warning during airline operators meeting in Abuja this weekend. And he said there's been alarming reports of flight delays, disruptions, and schedule changes without adequate notice to passengers. And he says the airlines need to improve their services. And also the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, was also saying that they are determined to enforce his 5-point agenda as mandated by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So he says it's unacceptable, the record of flight disruptions, poor customer experience, and poor handling of passengers, and that the operators must improve on their services or they will have him to face. It says that the airlines must rejig their flight schedule to match their number of serviceable aircraft, and that airlines are all aware of the airports which have sunset operations. So airlines must consider when they are scheduling their flights into sunset airports, they must do it early in the day so that they don't cancel their flights because some airports will be closing down at so and so time. So they must also handle persons with reduced mobility properly. So if you have like a physical challenge, they must ask you while you're filling the tickets to determine if you need special assistance, and they must be there to render the assistance. We've had different conversations on people who are challenged, who come to say that most of the airlines don't have any plans for them. And so this one is one good step in the right direction, or else those airlines will have to be sanctioned.
All right.
Yes, so I have the picture story, and this is about the abducted Ekiti pupils that have been released. So the parents said that they had to pay 15 million naira in ransom. Food, Tramadol, milk, and hard drinks were also handed over to their abductors as ransom. The police command in Ekiti says that they are not aware of any ransom that were paid, but the parents are saying this is what happened. When they had put their monies together, they were in communication with the kidnappers, who told them where to go, different places that you go, where they had to stop, ask them to stop to get them food. They bought food, and then led them to a certain place where they were supposed to drop the money. They were warned not to bring security agents or else they were going to kill the students with them. Luckily, 8 of them were released. 1 was killed. That's the driver of the bus. And they said the reason he was killed was immediately they had gotten them, they were asking them to give phone numbers of their relatives so that they could start making the ransom calls. But the driver said he didn't have his wife's number of hand, and for that they used their gun to hit him on his head. They said for 5 days he was in pain, and then they finally killed him and then set him ablaze in front of those children. The parents gave their own story of how they finally met up with the children. A grandparent said that he had leg injury and didn't want to go, but knowing that his grandchildren were there, he was just so happy to be united with them. The government of Ekiti State said that they are going to start trauma therapy with them, that clinically they're stable, but they're going to start that with them, and they are going to continue investigations to bring these perpetrators to book.
Yeah.
Yes, it
I'm happy
is.
they were reunited, and I'm happy the person that lost his life is such a gruesome.
They're not animals. They're animals.
I'm telling you, terrible. Talking about the power, yes, there was a power shutdown. Obviously, we know. It's affecting many industries. The headline is about the fact that 0 megawatts is leading to crippling businesses, crippling homes, and definitely affecting people negatively. So electricity supply had a major shutdown throughout last week. Since January, actually, it's been they are having fluctuation and you say grid shutdown. So specifically, 11 a.m. on Friday, there was 2,600 megawatts, and by 4 p.m. it dropped to 405 megawatts. Many discos getting 0 supply megawatts. Like the entire country was left with just 405. Like we don't have an idea.
Ew.
We're talking about this, like what we are calling our highest is barely covering a local government in some countries. So the Minister of Power has blamed the development on declining supply to the GENCOs. The GENCOs too are blaming this on vandalism. So the vandalism part is where I'm begging Nigerians. Like, we know that they are not doing well, but we safe are not helping them. When you vandalize, destroy not just the pipeline, the gas supply dropping, the transmission equipment stolen. When you steal transmission equipment, you come back and complain when there's no lights. We are all affecting each other one way or the other. Then there's challenge of liquidity within the power sector. So we have cases where GENCOs, the payment is not being, proper payment is not being made by there's Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company, NBET. And they said there's need for the monies that are being made to go to the GENCOs. Again, GENCOs are not getting paid by discos. There is a lot of debts in between them, and that the industry needs financial help. But as it is right now, let's everybody work together. The minister is on my watch list. He has been on my watch list since he was appointed, and it doesn't seem, I'm not seeing the level of work that we need, because power sector is critical to every industry in this country. Health will not work, schools will not work, businesses will not thrive if we don't have power. So you are holding Nigeria, and I pray God will give you the wisdom to navigate it.
Okay, so the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, had fired a salvo to Atiku Abubakar, that's the former vice president and PDP presidential candidate. If you recall, Atiku has sent in tweeted on the X handle saying that the renewed hope agenda has described it as dashing hopes, creating pains, and causing despair. Wow. Of course, Bayo Onanuga was not going to let that lie. He said that he's offering pedestrian and uninformed interventions on national economy. That, listen, you want to be the opposition in chief, which is fine, but you are doing a really poor job at it. According to him, he said the Tinubu administration has so far taken the steps it has taken to revive the economy that has been thoroughly beaten down by previous mismanagement, introducing economic strategies focused on bringing mid-long-term solutions. Even the president himself has said that initially there will be tough times, but eventually those are the sacrifices we need to make for the future of our nation. He said Atiku has certainly found a new hobby to keep himself busy, having failed to achieve his lifelong ambition to be a president. But now he's doing a poor job at being the opposition in chief of the party. Okay, the Punch. Fundraising for ransom persists. Ekiti people's families pay 15 million naira. FG states debts near 107 trillion naira. Fall raises loans. Tinubu Obasanjo, world leaders mourn Namibian president. NAFEM, dollar supply rises by 180% as banks sell $440 million. Power generation crashes to 59 megawatts as grid collapses again. NSCDC trains vigilantes to secure 821,000 vulnerable schools and 10 hospitals as police called groups clash in Lagos schools. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.